welcome to Tabor Talk. So I'm doing something a little bit different here in our bedroom, and I'm just holding up my phone, as you can see, and looking in the mirror, and here is our top of our dresser, very, very girly, as you can see, right? So my wife does all of the interior decorating, as it should be the case, and I'm just holding this up. Okay, so anyway, jumping right into this. So I did a video about a week ago. I talked about how ridiculous and childish and vicious and mean Trump was for calling Mike Bloomberg Little Mike or Mini Mike, right? And I think after the Super Bowl, the Super Bowl interview, he kept saying Little Mike, Mini Mike, and he's been tweeting. And I did a video on this, how awful this was, and can you imagine if someone, a grown man, the president of the United States, was making fun of your father or your grandfather, saying Mini Mike, blah, blah, blah. If you're interested, go back to my channel and watch. And I got some responses saying, one guy said, you know what? Bloomberg and Trump go way back, New York, they're billionaires, and he's just ribbing him. He's just like, it's a playful, sort of affectionate way. And I watched and I looked at it, I go, no, that's not correct. It's vicious and nasty. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to segue into a David Pakman piece. He discusses this whole Bloomberg Trump thing, and then I'll talk afterwards. Okay.
So you might remember that a couple of weeks ago, Michael Bloomberg ran these fat pick ads of Donald Trump, where it was an ad about Trump's golfing, where Michael Bloomberg said something along the lines of, the only thing I would hire Trump, or I wouldn't even hire Trump to run a golf course, something like that. But the visuals during that short ad were these very, very unappealing pictures of Donald Trump in a very light colored golf uniform, where he looks very heavy, and Trump likely is clinically obese, as many of you know. And Trump was immediately just completely triggered by Mike Bloomberg, repeatedly tweeting about Mini Mike when that happened 2 weeks ago. Very, very much paying attention to what Michael Bloomberg is doing and triggered by it. And Trump actually came up with a pretty funny line in response to those ads, where he said that Mike Bloomberg, Mini Mike, is negotiating being allowed to stand on a box if he makes it into the debates, which is really funny. I mean, I think that Donald Trump's tweeting could not be less presidential and embarrassing to the country. But every once in a while, he comes up with something funny, like Bloomberg is trying to negotiate being allowed to stand on a box. And Michael Bloomberg has continued to focus his ads on attacking Donald Trump in a way that triggers Trump, and it's working. Trump tweeting more attacks on Bloomberg over the last day, tweeting about Michael Bloomberg's height, quote, Mini Mike is a 5'4" mass of dead energy who does not want to be on the debate stage with these professional politicians. No boxes, please. He hates crazy Bernie and will, with enough money, possibly stop him. Bernie's people will go nuts. Now, Bloomberg is actually 5'8". That's a very respectable height, particularly if you look at my driver's license, not 5'4". But in all seriousness, attacking a candidate's height, that's where Donald Trump has been relegated to at this point. Why do you think Trump is so easily triggered and flabbergasted by what Michael Bloomberg does? Is it that Bloomberg is just so much richer than Trump and Trump hates that? Is it that Bloomberg was able to express his disdain for minorities in that unearthed audio in a much more eloquent sounding way than Donald Trump has talked about, rapists and criminals from Mexico or whatever? I don't know what it is, but Bloomberg is triggering Trump. Trump going on to tweet, along with a Photoshop picture of Bloomberg's head on what seems like a little kid's body. This is the president of the United States, folks, saying, quote, Mini Mike Bloomberg is a loser who has money but can't debate and has zero presence, you will see. He reminds me of a tiny version of Jeb Low Energy Bush, but Jeb has more political skill and has treated the black community, capital B for black, much better than Mini, capital M for Mini. I shouldn't like this so much, but this is like a guilty pleasure. Trump's tweets about Mini Mike Bloomberg and the clear rage and disdain that he has for Bloomberg are just delightful. So let me know what you think. Is Trump being triggered because Bloomberg has more money, because Bloomberg made his money with the Bloomberg terminal instead of inheriting it from his dad? Is it that Bloomberg hasn't gone bankrupt multiple times at in his businesses the way Donald Trump has? I am not a Bloomberg supporter, as you all know, but I find Bloomberg's rise in the polls absolutely fascinating. And I find the degree and ease with which Bloomberg is able to trigger Donald Trump and the way that it's playing out absolutely and completely hilarious. Let me know what you think. I'm on Twitter at @dpakman. Why is Trump so triggered by Bloomberg? And then later in the show, I am going to address this issue of, is Bloomberg an oligarch? What does that term mean? And is it a relevant term in the United States relative to other countries? There was a big dust up on MSN. I think it was on MSNBC. Maybe it was CNN. Who knows? I don't watch any of them. About the term oligarch being applied to Michael Bloomberg recently. We will talk about that in audience questions. Your calls are upcoming. And of course, I want to hear from you on Twitter at @dpakman. Follow me there and let me know what you think about Trump's triggerability at the hands of Michael Bloomberg.
Okay, so there you go. I'm doing this one in my bedroom. Here's my beautiful cat, Shiloh. Shiloh! Shiloh! Oh, he's tired now. Hey, buddy. What's going on, buddy? He's amazing. He is not quite one. He's awesome. Okay, getting right into it. So, pardon me, I have some stuff in my mouth, so if I sound like Marlon Brando or something, I got some, I chew this stuff called kratom. It's an herb. I've done videos on that if you're interested. Not to keep plugging my channel, but anyway, so getting right into this, the great David Pakman, love him. He is so good. He's been doing this for quite some time. I actually yesterday did some research on his background. He's from South America. He had a radio show, I think in 2008, something like that. And now he's like this big internet star. He is just terrific. I love him. If you haven't subscribed to his channel, do so. Follow him on Twitter. He is just fantastic. He's way better than I am, that's for sure. But anyway, I've only been doing this for 6 months. Okay, so no question about it. Trump is triggered by Bloomberg, and it's not a playful, sort of affectionate, sporting sort of thing. It's real and vicious. Okay, on that note, good friends, good books, and sleepy conscience. Shiloh, do you want to say goodbye? Shiloh, buddy? He's kind of tired. He's usually pretty wired. Okay.